Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with Peter Yu. Today, we have a very special guest, Nicky and Etsuka. But before we do, we just want to thank our sponsors. We have Jason, Levon, and David. Thank you so much. Judo TV also sponsors us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nicky, for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's an honor. You got a lot of viewers.
Yeah, a lot of viewers, and we're excited to have you. For those of you who don't know, Nicky was a 1980 Olympian, right? 3 generations of judo. His kid is about to make an Olympic team, knock on wood, right? So it's going to be an amazing podcast. Let's start off with that. 1980 Olympian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1980. Long time ago. I was 16. I didn't have many accomplishments before that. I just got a wild card to. I think it took fifth. I lost for third. I lost to Tamok for third in the nationals that year,
Oh,
and
wow.
they
Tamar, huh?
gave yeah
It's
legend.
another name that goes all the way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He beat me for third in the nationals, and they gave me a wild card spot.
Yeah.
So after I got the spot to I think they picked there were seven people in the trials, and I won those trials. So that's how
Wow.
I made the
How old
team.
was Tamok back then?
Tamok, I think, is 8 years older than me.
Okay, so he
So
was already like,
he's
as an
20
adult, mid 20s.
24. Yeah, 24.
Wow, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
different system back then, right? Because it wasn't like your weight class had to qualify for the Olympics first, and then they decide who's going to go. The country decides, right? Was that how it was?
The country could pick one person per weight class back then. So it was a
Nice.
little bit
Yeah,
easier to make the team than it is now.
yeah, very different now.
Yeah. So, yep. And back then they just had the one trials,
Yeah,
and like I said, I had no other accomplishments really until in the senior ranks until So after that trials, they kind of changed the system to a point system,
yeah.
and that was in 1984. I won the trials again, but I ended up not going because Brett Barron, who took third place, had like a quarter more point than me at the time,
Oh man, that
and it was
sucks. Yeah,
yeah, it was really
that's
that one.
brutal. Because it's not like you
Yeah,
just log onto the internet and be like, all right, how many points do I have, right? Because it's a little bit of a different time.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
like I remember it wasn't like today's the point system. Like Jack's got 2,300 or something like that, right?
yeah.
So
What's he on the
back
world ranking list now?
he's right at the end of directly qualifying. Like so, I guess 17. There's 17 that
Wow,
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
17 without doubles, or are they? Is that without like doubling up countries and stuff, or no?
Yeah, so he's like I guess he's probably like maybe 19, but then there's two people that are in the same countries doubled up, so he
Yeah.
moves to the right
Wow,
in there.
17 is so high, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So in
It's not easy.
1980 was kind of an unfortunate year because it was a boycott, right?
Yep. So
The Russian,
we
yeah,
actually knew I think right before the trials that we weren't going anyway.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
How horrible is that?
well, at the time, being 16, I thought, no problem. I'm gonna make
Yeah,
some more teams, And like I said, I won the '84, didn't make it then, so
yeah. And you were 20 at the time, right?
yeah, never
Yeah.
never competed at the Olympics.
What happened after the 20s? Like, did you kind of retire, or would you?
No, I kept let's see, '88. I After '84, I dropped. I was never a big enough 78 kilo. I was kind
Yeah.
of like hovering in the middle. So
Mm.
I dropped down to 71, and I did pretty good in 71. I beat Mike Swain twice in the
Oh, nice, cool.
nationals. I got
Yeah,
somebody just sent me a video of both 85 and 86 nationals
yeah.
with Mike, and I might post it on
Oh my
YouTube
God,
just to,
post it. I would love to see that, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So so I dropped down to 71, and did well. I won like the Dutch Open, took third in the World University.
Wow,
Oh,
that's so cool.
took
Yeah.
went to the semifinals, fought Koga in the it's not the Tokyo Grand Slam, it's the Kano
Kodokan
Cup.
Cup. Yeah.
Kano Cup,
Oh,
yeah.
Kano Cup. That's oh my
Yeah,
God, that's
yeah.
right. That was a good tournament.
Yeah. So
Yeah. What year was that?
86. 86,
Wow.
I lost to Koga in the semis, then I lost for third to a Polish guy.
Nice.
But then
Yeah.
then I went for 88. I went back up because Mike beat me in 87
Mm.
in the nationals, and he went to the worlds and won the worlds that year. and
Wow. Yeah,
I
yeah.
decided to go back up to 78 and fought 78. But I wasn't like I was again in the middle, and I wasn't,
Yeah, it's the
and
whole thing.
I
Yeah.
messed up in 88. Then I wasn't that old, but in
Yeah.
92 I was in the trials again in 92. I lost to Jason, and he took second that year, but
Yeah.
and that was it. So 92, I'm like
Man.
29 years old, and my back was bad after that, and I was like, that's it.
Yeah. I remember watching you
I'm
compete
done.
at senior nationals when I was like in 2000s. You made a comeback and you were,
Oh, 2008, I was 44, 45 years old, and I
yeah, dude, you
just,
came out of nowhere. And man, because I grew up in New York, New Jersey, right? And I know your dad, and I know, we're in the same community. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But this is the thing. I was born in 1984. I'm 40 this year.
Mm,
So, and you're 60. So I never got to see you compete. There was like a
mhm.
little bit of you were on your way out, and then I was kind of like just kind of starting my teenage IJF career, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So when you were like, I'm coming back to do a U.S. national, I was so excited, dude. And I remember you coming off the mat, and you were like, I was like, oh man, wow, that was, and you were like, I've never been so tired in my life. You said those words to me. It was so funny the way you said it, though. Don't you
Dude,
remember that?
I'll never forget it. I was feeling good at Randury at that time,
Yeah.
so I was like, let's drive down to, I think it was Virginia Beach, and I'll
Yes.
compete,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So the first round, the guy threw me like Yuko or something. He was pretty good, but
Yeah.
I beat him. But it took the whole, like I threw him at the end. It took the whole time.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, because in my head I was still 20 years old and just moving the way I was,
Yeah.
I got off the mat, I laid down, and I couldn't get up. I felt like my kidneys were failing. Like I was dead, dead.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, for the next round, he's like, you're on deck, and like, why don't you jump around, like get used.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Pop, I can't even move. I'm done. I got,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was it. So yeah, I don't want to
Man.
forget.
Yeah. And here comes me. Hey, what's up, man? I can't believe you were out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, that's so cool, though. And was your dad? I mean, your dad's a legend, right? Because he came to the United States. He was one of the pioneers from Nichidai. Was it Nichidai, right?
Yeah.
Or Nichidai.
Nichidai, yeah, yeah.
Nichidai, that's right.
Neon.
And then my father came with the Kukushkan crew. So there was a huge group of New York, New Jersey, Japanese judo teachers from the old school Japan. What was that like growing up?
Yeah, I mean, that's when judo was seriously. I remember going to tournaments in New York where there was 100 kids in your division, and they had
Wow.
like a five. They called it a 5-point system. So
Yeah.
if you won by ippon, you had 0 points. But
Yeah.
when you get 5, you're out. So
Wow.
that you would have like 15 matches, to win the tournament. There was a lot of kids.
Yeah.
It's way different. We had and because of all those, like your dad, my dad, they were spread out all over New York, Connecticut,
Yes. It was awesome.
and New Jersey, and judo was big. I mean, it was just
Humongous,
really,
yeah.
really big back then.
And so many cool types of tournaments. I'll never forget, man. You guys ran a tournament with this coolest. It wasn't like weight classes, age categories, right? You had your base weight, and then you would add multipliers and things like this, depending on your age and your belt. Remember that?
I kind of remember that, but
Yeah.
not too good.
Oh man, I competed in a bunch of those when I was younger.
Okay.
So if you're like, under a certain age, you get like, this many points, and if each pound that you weigh is a certain point, right? And then what
Okay.
belt you are determines like,
Oh,
right,
okay.
multiplier this and that. So it'll be like, all right, 150 to 200 point division, 200 to 250 point division.
Mm.
So you could be like a lightweight advanced athlete and then go against a beginner heavyweight,
Yeah, yeah.
which was
Ha-
like the
ha-
coolest thing ever. Remember that?
Did it work out good? I don't remember how
It was awesome. It was
yeah.
the coolest thing in the world because I remember being like a 13, 14, 15 kind of a young teen, and I was able to go with some of the West Point guys who were heavyweight white belts.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I didn't have any points from my age because I was younger than everyone, right? I was kind of heavy and I had a higher belt, right? So
Right.
I would have to fight in the higher point divisions even though I was really young. And you get these like super heavy guys, or you get some middleweight black belts who were like younger, like middle age range, like 20 something.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool tournament, man. And
Yeah.
you could do a lot of that cool
Made
stuff.
it
you know?
interesting, like
Definitely
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Definitely interesting. Yeah, man. So growing up, your dad, Yonezuka Senior, was he tough?
Yeah, he was really tough. He was, very old school. He just wanted to make me the best judoka he could,
Yeah.
So back in his day he would do all kinds of crazy, old school Japanese judo is they did some crazy stuff, and like so he would say, like training after school, like he had me do some of this, stuff that he put two like handles on a tree trunk, not too big, like about like this big, and he's telling me to do osotogari on this tree trunk for after school, and he's not looking, and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, I tried it a couple times, and I'm thinking, I'm not doing this, it's not really, but like pulling the bands, like whatever, all that. So he just always pushed, me, and then like in Randuri here, we would always. We'd had a lot of guys for Randuri, and like Alan Coage, remember you've heard of Alan Coage?
Yeah, that's
bronze
right.
medalist, Clyde, Mike, Mitch Santa Maria, we had all these guys that, and like I'm like, I don't know, 14, and I'm going with Alan Coage, and I'm a Morote guy, so I come in Morote as deep as I can and as hard as I can. And Alan would just like spin me out like a top, just it was tough. My father was like kind of telling him like, beat him up,
Beat him up.
Just not beat him up, but
of course,
yeah. So
Man, and that's so cool that you're in that building still right now, right? How long has that been? The dojo been there?
61 years. 1962, a year before I was born.
Wow, that's the golden age, because I think my father came to the United States in 1963. So in the 60s, really all the Japanese guys came, and then the 70s, 80s, right? Really, judo was such a big thing.
Yeah.
Right? New York, New Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah. They were all young back then, so like they were, doing Randuri and killing everybody, and it was like that's how it, when they're young, it blew up.
Yeah, and did you do a lot of Randuri with your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that?
Yeah. At the beginning, he would just throw me around, obviously, like, and then as he got older and I got better, it got pretty tight, and.
What age were you guys, say, like, kind of nipping at his heels, kind of?
Let's nipping at his heels, probably like late teens, but then, it didn't he hung in there for a long time where it wasn't like I was going to, throw him around ever,
Yeah.
And I think after he, kind of like what I did with my kids, after I knew that it was a little bit too much, like for me, it was like 5 years ago, my kids were not that old. I mean, 5 years ago, they're 17 or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to back off going Randuri with them a little bit because, that's how, but, same with my dad, but his was even, longer, he was,
Yeah, it's got to be tough, right? When you're like, at the dojo, you're 60 something, and your kid's throwing you around, and you get home. It's like, all right, do your homework, and it's like, what?
Yeah. Well, that would never happen.
Man, so did you train Jack and Nicky like the same way that you were kind of brought up training?
Yeah. I when my dad passed and I started teaching at the club.
Yeah.
The one thing I knew was like I don't know how to. I've never run my own business or anything like that. I don't know if I'm a good businessman at all. I knew I didn't know anything about it, but I knew I could make kids better in judo because that's all I did my whole life, and I know how to. Because what my dad did with me, so that's what I actually told him when the first day I came back. I told the class, like, that's what I'm going to do. If you want to get better at judo, I can make you better at judo. And I figure that's the way they're going to stay because you usually like doing what you're good at. So if I can make these kids good, they'll stay. And I have this class twice a week. It's like the advanced class, we called it, or competition class or whatever. And I would select a couple kids if you're like, it's invitation only. If you're able to enter that class, then I would push those kids. There's a few that came up with Nick and Jack that are still in that. Yeah. And I would push them hard and do a lot of muscle memory like drills and just get them ready for like really, really a lot, and I'd throw a lot of techniques at them, see what sticks, and so Nick and Jack came up with that. And at first it wasn't they were younger, so it wasn't too high level, but it was and as they grew, as they got their level higher and higher, the technique, the different higher technique, would really go up with them. And then the other kids, whoever's in that class, if they can hang, they can hang. It was based a lot on Nick and Jack.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
that class,
Yeah,
and a lot of them, a lot of them didn't hang. A lot of the kids dropped out. Didn't want to do that class, and then all right. So,
do your kids do judo every day at the gym, at your dojo?
not at the dojo. They do. It's 4 times a week, and then after off the mat, they do other stuff. And
like
Jack
lifting weights and things like that.
lifting weights, but Jack is really, really. He's like a machine. Like he kind of like he's like a shark. If he's not doing moving and doing stuff, he gets maybe anxious, or he's so he's very like I don't have to push him at all with that kind of stuff. He takes it on himself, and
does he ask a lot of questions, like technique wise, like, hey Pops, what do you think about this and that?
He doesn't ask a lot of questions, but I throw a lot of stuff at him, and when I do throw stuff at him, like. It's surprising that sometimes, maybe 70% of the time, he's already kind of thought of something similar. So we're nice. At this point, we're kind of like in cahoots with, not all the time, but like 70% of the time, he's already had a thought of, and he understands it very quick. He gets it, it comes to like he knows exactly what we're talking about. Sometimes it's like, nah, I can't do that. I'm not, I don't, but.
Yeah. So like I watch your kid do judo on Judo TV and stuff, right? Whenever like I know he's coming up, like that drop ochi that he does, right? Like that's not like you never used to do that. You're kind of like a stand-up to Ochimata guy, right? From the very little judo that I've seen you do, and the judo that I've heard people talk about what your style was, like where did that come from? Like did you teach him that?
No, I know how a lot of other coaches are, but everybody's got to be, whatever you're good at, this is what you should continue to try to like build on. I'm not going to tell everybody to do, let's say, sticky foot, or it doesn't have to be my style, but I understand all different techniques. So if you have a talent for Uchimata or Morote, whatever, Ochigari, whatever your talent is, then you build off of that to do other techniques from that. You know what I mean? Like, don't change. Just do what you're good at and build off of that is my thing.
Did your judo style reflect very closely to your father's style?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Really?
He was Hanigo. He's Hanigosh. I was Morote. I was Morote and Ochi.
I think you were doing an Uchimata. Why did I think
did
that?
Uchimata too, but that was. It depended on the guy. Like if it was like you'll see like if I post that thing with Mike Swain. On lefties I would do Uchimata because that leg was there. I'm a righty, so I would so it's harder to get in front with Morote, but
definitely for sure, especially inside control, outside. If you're on the outside, you can't do Morote at all.
Left, I would do left Ippon and right Uchimata.
Oh, that's a good one to have both.
Well, that's what I would do on a lefty, but on a righty, I would always Morote.
Nice.
But so my style was a little bit more like Jack than my other son, Nicky. Nicky's just starting to pick up Morote now, but like he's more of a like around the back and pull him in close, that kind of thing.
So that's your judo. What is your like overall judo teaching philosophy? Like, we kind of have a gist, but like coming from you, like if you want to explain it, what would that be like?
As far as like making the kid better.
Yeah, making a kid better, all that stuff.
Well, like I said, like I see if I see they're talented in first of all uchikomi, like even to get to that advanced class that I have, I watch their uchikomi, and uchikomi is super important. So I correct everything in uchikomi, and then I see what they're good at, like what throw are you good at. So how do we make that throw work for you? It's not just the steps and the technique. It's timing. It's how to move your opponent to make that work. The grip, all this. So you just, like I said, I try to make each kid like whatever they're already kind of good at. Use that to make help them make better, and just build on that and go from there.
So when did you take over the dojo completely?
2014.
Okay, and then before that, were you like still in the dojo all the time, or not so
Yeah,
much?
after I stopped competing, like in 92, 93, 93 was my last senior nationals. And I was
Yeah,
already, like I said, I wasn't that old. I was
yeah,
29, but
yeah,
I'd been doing judo since I'm 4 years old, competing all the time. You know what I mean? And I felt like an
yeah,
old 29.
yeah.
So, and then my back got like had to take a whole year off. My back was super messed up. I couldn't
Yeah, sucks.
walk barely. But then I just after that, I came back and I just was doing randori 3 times a week, then twice a week, and it was just come for randori. That's it. My dad was the sensei, and I'm not.
Yeah,
He didn't really like kind of. I don't know how your dad was, but he didn't like kind of like
yeah,
say, "Hey, this is how we do the business," and I want you to kind of like start running classes. He
yeah,
never did that. And so I was like, that's fine. I have my own job, and
yeah,
you do your thing. And I was just coming just for recreational randori a few
yeah.
times a week.
Nice. Yeah, my father too, man. He did his the way he did the business too. It was kind of like he said everyone was on month to month. People would bring cash, and then sometimes like, "Hey, man, you didn't pay. Come here." Like, and it was just like embarrass the guy. The guy would quit.
Yeah, yeah,
There was no like process. There was no system. People would come in, get on the mat, do randori first day, and get injured. It was like the Wild West, dude.
yep, yep.
I
No,
don't know if you run it like that
100%.
now, but I'm
No,
sure you
I
take.
did when I first started.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything, but I started to like see. Yeah, credit card's probably better. Like
But
yeah,
so good, right? Just
yeah,
automatically bill everybody. That's kind of the way, right?
yeah.
You guys do contracts, commitments?
No, we did, but
Yeah.
now I'm trying to do just automatic credit card. We
Yeah.
just have like a 3 month commitment that
Okay.
if,
Yeah.
after 3 months we could freeze it or cancel it, whatever.
Oh, good, good. All right, so you're
Yeah.
doing all the right things, right?
I guess I don't know. You're the master at that.
Nah, nah,
I gotta.
Yeah, and you have like a YouTube channel now and
Yep.
Instagram and everything. I love it. You want to plug it? Where can they find you?
The YouTube channel.
Yeah, YouTube channel,
It just
Instagram.
my name is it's just Nick under Nicky and Eska, and you'll find the YouTube.
Are you still posting every
Um,
day?
No, no.
No?
I like once a month now.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like techniques and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really good, man. I really like it. And there's so much not so good content out there when it comes to judo techniques. So I think you're really adding value to the world of judo when you do that. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
so cool.
I started in what was it in COVID? I knew you had
Yeah,
done stuff before that, but a lot of people were doing YouTube.
yeah,
There, everybody's because you're sitting at home watching the stuff on YouTube,
yeah,
and a
yeah.
lot of it was pretty bad. So
Oh, so
I
bad.
was like,
Yeah.
you know what? Let me start one.
Nice, nice, nice.
Um,
So where's Jack now in terms of like making an Olympic team now? Like it's got to be right now is the crunch time, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's like for this year, last year. You can't change that. This year, there's 6 slots for your best scores, your best 6 scores. He's got 3 really good.
Results.
He took second in the Junior Worlds. He took fifth.
That counts towards
in
seniors?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Really?
yep. He got 409. That's a Grand Prix. It's Grand Prix points
Oh,
for
okay,
that
okay,
tournament.
got it.
Not
Got it.
Grand Slam, but Grand Prix
Yeah.
points. So then he got fifth in Abu Dhabi Grand Slam, and he took third in the Perth Oceania Grand Prix.
Okay.
So then he needs 3 more. He has other scores that he can do better with. So he needs 3 more, and I think
Yeah.
he's got like 7 more tournaments or something lined up. And
Nice. How close is the race for him to make a direct qualification?
it's he's the last right now. He's like pretty much the last slot. People can pass him or for direct qualification.
Yeah, man, that's brutal. So what's the wild card looking like over there with the
The
Lama
wild
round?
card is looking good though for Jack because he's
Okay.
got more points than it seems like Maria will probably directly qualify, and
Okay.
then after
Yeah.
that, he's got the most points after that. So
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah, wow. So, man, this must have been such a costly journey for you too, right? I mean, people listening in, they have no clue what, going to these IJF events cost, right?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's got to be 3 to 5 grand a month, every trip really almost, right?
yeah. Thank God, what USA Judo doesn't. USA Judo has criteria for how if you're top 20 or top 25 or
Yeah.
even top 30, you get a certain amount.
Yeah.
But whatever they don't cover, thank God for New York Athletic Club, they
Yeah.
we try to expense it, and they give you what they can, and they've been unbelievable. Without
Yeah.
them, I don't think we could.
Oh,
There's no
it's
way.
brutal. Were you a part
Yeah.
of the athletic club too back in the day?
No,
Oh.
I'm so old that there was no IJF and
Yeah.
there was
No,
no
IJF. Wow.
USA Judo, right? So
Really?
USA Judo was right after I retired. There was
Wow.
there was one guy like that would whatever money the U.S. Olympic Committee would give judo.
Yeah.
This guy named Frank Fullerton managed the
Oh.
money, and
Yeah.
he would say there was no staff; it was just him. He would say, "Okay, we're going to Europe, and we're going to go this tournament, this tournament, this tournament. If you make the team, you don't have to pay anything. If as long
Wow.
as you are
Yeah.
on the team, you don't have to pay. So
Oh, that
that's
must.
that's
How do you
how
make the team?
you have to be the best guy in your weight class,
Oh,
basically.
okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
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 How did they determine that? Nationals?
Nationals. There was
Yeah.
three. There was nationals. There was the U.S. Open, which was a pretty big tournament back then. They had,
Yeah.
a lot of other countries would come, and the trials. They would have like one trials for Pan Am's or Worlds.
Yeah, I kind of miss
I
that
think
style, like it keeps the dream going a little bit, like, oh, let me limp into nationals, maybe win it, and then maybe I go to a big tournament, but now it's like with the qualification systems, like there's no way to just limp into something local and then take it all the way to the top, because you have to
Yeah.
go to these international events and such to kind of gain any sort of, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
brutal. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, man. So,
Like the nationals kind of got watered down because of that too. Like
yeah, yeah,
we used to be the if you won nationals, you were the man. Like that was like
yeah,
if there was three tournaments, that was a third of it.
yeah. Yeah, but now it's like, why would you risk going to nationals and getting injured in a tournament that really doesn't matter at all
Doesn't
for
matter.
Olympic qualifications? Like, why would
Yeah,
anyone want to do that, right?
that's right. How unless you're sponsored by New York AC, then
It's true.
you
Yeah.
got to go. Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty good deal what the New York Athletic Club is doing for some of these amateur athletes. I think they're kind of a little bit not as in terms of like budget wise as big as they were before, right? But they're still doing great for the. I don't know how many guys are on the team now. I probably should know, but that's amazing, man.
Yeah. No,
So yeah,
they without them, I'm telling you, no one.
yeah,
It wouldn't be happening. You
yeah.
can't go to there. Everything is. I don't know if there's one a month. There's probably 12 events or something or more.
Yeah, you gotta go 10 events at least a year to have.
To be yeah. So there's no way.
Yeah. When I was coming up, man, they also had the Hudson Athletes Fund with New York, New Jersey. That was a really nice thing for a little bit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a few $100 here and there. It's
It used to be much bigger. They did well for a hot second, and then, with the change in power and all this stuff and Billy Martin leaving and COVID, it just kind of went away. It's not the same.
Oh, right. And I guess also like USJF is kind of, getting pushed out a little bit. So, and that's a USJF
Oh, is that
Inch
right?
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what's next for Jack? Like, what tournaments does he have left?
He just competed in Uzbekistan. He's going right from there to Austria, and I'm going to meet him out there. I'm leaving
Nice.
Wednesday.
Whew.
After Austria, Tbilisi.
Are you going to Tbilisi?
No, I'm just going to Austria, coming back.
Nice. I'm going to
and-
Tbilisi,
Oh, this for this?
for the judo tournament. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I'm making a
Okay.
comeback. No, I'm not making a comeback.
Are you going though?
I'm going to commentate for Judo TV.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
That's really
so
cool.
they were like, "Hey, do you want to do this thing?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll try it out." So we're gonna have I'm
Wait.
gonna be training to be a commentator.
Like with Neil and Sheldon.
Yeah.
Oh okay.
So I'll be there. I'm gonna be, they wanted an American accent, I think, for Judo TV or something like this.
No, that's great. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
You
So
know?
I'll be in the thing. Hey, there's Jack Yonezuka just talking to his dad.
Yeah. No, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm gonna be excited. It's gonna be exciting, man. If he stays, is there a camp there? Do you know?
There's so much going on. I don't even remember. I know he's now. I don't. I think there might be. There might be.
Yeah. Do they still do camps in between each Grand Slam event?
Not all of them, but some of them do have them, and he likes if he's there, he
Yeah.
definitely wants to do the camps.
Dude, those camps are
That's what
awesome,
he's-
man. I remember like they would do like the Asia tour. And I remember one time I went from Korea to China to Japan. And then the camp was 1 week, like 3 or 4 days in between each tournament. And after the Tokyo Grand Slam, we were there for like 2 weeks.
Right.
You know? And then everyone went home, but I stayed for 2 weeks extra to work out with the Kikuchikan team.
Yeah.
So, it was like 6 weeks of just all judo. It was like so awesome, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, you need that. I mean, like at that level, like you got to get your hands on the best players to just to get confidence and to see where you're at.
So he does majority of his training at home in your dojo, though.
Yep. Whenever if he's not like this year is crazy. It's like from like I explained, he's not even coming home. He's going from Uzbekistan to Austria to Tbilisi. Then it might be Turkey after that.
Oh, yeah, I'll be in
just
Turkey
directly.
too. Yeah.
So, but if on a regular like 2022, 2023, if he's not doing a tournament and a camp, he's here at the club.
Nice. All right, so if you were to give some advice, right, the dads out there, if they want to build their kid into like an Olympian, you have any advice for those guys?
Build a kid to an Olympian.
Yeah, maybe they have like a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old. They're bought in. The dad loves judo. They want their kid to be a judo champion, and you see it all the time. Most guys who are in it, who have dojos, they put their kid into the dojo, right? So,
well, the one thing I would say is, and I've seen this many times, is if the kid is a young kid, if he's doing really good, it's almost a bad thing. Because there's only one way to go after that is down, because it gets harder if there's I've seen kids that are really talented and they win everything right off the bat, and the fathers are pushing them and they're all into it, but it gets harder as they get older, and then if they don't win, it's like it's not fun anymore. So I would say don't push so much at the beginning when they're little. Wait till, like with Nick and Jack, it was pretty recreational until they were like maybe 13, 12, 13, 14.
What do you consider recreational?
Just, competing for fun, like going to practice all the time. But then when you compete, you're competing just to see where you're at, but you're not, it's not important, it's not like you win or lose. What's the difference? You're just seeing how you're doing,
What's like the training regimen when they were like 10?
Just coming to class and doing, that's it. No training. We only had it, like 3 or 4 times a week, whatever it was, and their mom would bring them. When they were 10, like I wasn't even involved too much,
So when they were kids, right? I remember when I was a kid, I was like, "Yo, Dad, I want to join the Little League." I was like, you don't need to do that. So it was like, that was what I did, judo, that's it, Were you kind of the same way? Like, were they allowed to like join a flag football league, or like Tuesday nights they have skating with their friends?
Yeah, I let them do whatever they wanted, and like
Nice.
when Jack was in grammar school, elementary school, he did basketball, he did soccer, he did all these things, and he wasn't good at all, he did it to. And I sucked at basketball too, but I'd go play with him and say, like, he can't shoot. So I'm like, you know what, get rebounds. Just try to like be tough on the inside. And Nicky did, he did track. He lasted till like freshman year in high school. He did track.
Nice.
And then they both decided, I'm better at judo. I might as well stick to, if you want to be really good at something, which they both decided they wanted to be really good at something, they stayed with judo. That's kind of me too. Like my dad, like he kind of said what your dad did, but I wrestled. Did you wrestle in high school?
Yeah, high school, college. Yeah,
I wrestled in high school, but not like, I just did it for the social part of it, and
definitely fun. Yeah,
like to have some recognition in the school and stuff like that, and but I didn't really practice with I just went to the meets, and I did good enough so they let me just go to the meets, and. But my dad, eventually was like, if you want to do something, if you want to be really good, you got to just do one thing. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it is true. You got to kind of... So you guys have practice which days now?
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturdays.
Nice. That's a good schedule, because then you can kind of have like Tuesday and Friday off, and they're kind of far away from each other, to where everyone can just make all the practices reasonably, right? If you want to be good,
Yeah. We changed it around a little bit. Like Friday there was class, but Fridays, like in the summertime, like I live down the Jersey Shore, and the traffic going south on the Parkway is like, forget it. Friday,
No, no good.
Yeah.
Man. So what's next for you? Like, are there a lot of guys coming up in your dojo that you also want to bring up who are kind of like also going to be the next generation of guys, or
Well,
because you have a long
that's
history of building champs,
yeah.
at the Yonezuka dojo, right?
Yeah. We that class that I was telling you about, we have like two like 15-year-olds that are there. One of them is like
Yeah.
really really good. Like I would say better than Nick and Jack at that time when they were that age.
Yeah.
Then we have another group that are like maybe 3 or 4 12, 13 age group kids
Yeah.
that are coming up, and they're hanging with that class doing well. And then we got some really little kids that are good, but I'm not letting them in that class, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the parents are like, "Hey, can we put them in this class?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, you got to be
Yeah,
patient,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like but so hopefully pretty soon those kids will be there too."
You push a lot of kids to competition, like, hey, you guys should go or do
No,
this.
I
Or,
just
no?
advertise like when they,
Yeah.
like especially like Ramon and Tony,
Yeah.
their tournaments, Corey's tournament, like just for their sake, like I
Yeah.
just post and I say if you want to compete, let's go, you know.
Nice, nice. What do you do
Yeah.
during the day over there at the is there day classes running or?
No, well,
No?
no, I don't have any day classes, and I probably I'm not working too hard. I'm just doing the. How about
Yeah,
you? You got the day classes, right? Or
I
no?
have Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday day classes, but I don't teach them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to be,
Yeah, right.
because when you're young, like Colton Brown has a gym now. He's there 6 a.m.,
I
noon,
know.
10 a.m.,
Yeah.
all day, all night. But it's
Yeah.
like I have a 5-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
I want to like take her to school, pick her up from school, all this stuff. I don't want to be there
Exactly.
since right?
Yeah.
The guy
Yeah.
like, hey,
No.
can you
That
do a 7 a.m.
same.
private? It's like, no, that's out of the question. I'm not doing
Maybe
that.
like when Nick and Jack they take over, they'll probably put more classes and do something.
Dude, that's
along
the
those
dream,
lines,
right?
but-
Like people say,
Yeah.
like, oh, you start a business, you give it to your kid, but your dad started the business, gave it to you, and you could give it to your kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Do
That
you
is-
have any other job now or no?
No, that's it.
Wow, you're a full timer like me. That's amazing.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you miss your old job of real estate?
Oh hell
appraisal?
no, hell no, man. That was just to money. That's all that was about.
Yeah.
Now it's totally different.
You didn't like residential real estate? Like, oh man, look at this house, look at this condo, look at the
It
road.
wasn't bad,
Yeah.
like as far as a job goes, but it was a job. I got paid by how many I did, how many
Yeah.
appraisals you did. So, you work a lot of hours
Oh,
just to
my
make
God,
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
How many? Could you do 3 appraisals in a day?
Yeah, about 3. And
Brutal.
yeah,
Because you got to travel, go, do the thing,
yeah.
answer a lot of annoying questions if they're there.
Yeah, and there's your bosses, they're
Oh,
breathing
yeah.
on your back and stuff like that. So
You love being a dojo owner and doing what you did? What do you do now?
yeah, like I said, it's not a job. It's more of it's something to wake up in the morning and be like,
Yeah.
I want to do this today because like I think it'll help this one or that
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
and yeah,
Oh, that's great, man.
yeah.
And then, so when you gave that up and then decided to go full throttle with the dojo, like, were you like a little bit worried at all? Like, because I remember when your father passed and you had to take over. I remember we had a couple of conversations about like running a dojo and stuff because I've already been doing it for my father, at my gym.
Yep.
Right? Was it like a scary transition or?
The I guess my whole life I kind of dive head first into stuff. I'm not like I don't overthink things too
Yeah.
much, and I kind of know myself a little bit. So like I said, I knew that business wise I might not be but when he passed, like the business wasn't doing that great anyway. But had no. I knew that I could make kids better if they wanted to be better. I knew I could do that. But as far as
Yeah.
I just kind of winged it and see.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough thing, right? Because mat space is so valuable because everyone's off, right? After school to like 7 or 8 p.m. That's the time that you can
Yeah.
pack classes in.
Yeah.
And then if you have unlimited packages and kids are coming, 4 days, 5 days a week, you're not really maximizing the time and space. So from like a commercial standpoint, like you want once a week, twice a week packages and fill as many kids in each of those slots as possible, right? So, boy, it's a tough thing to decide. It's like, do I want to make a lot more money by having, a lot more students and maximize the time and space? How do you balance that?
I kind of just want to pack we're pretty packed as it is, like
Yeah.
we only have like those 4 days. We have a kids class, adult
Yeah.
class, and the advanced class. Those are the three different classes we have.
Kids class is
And
just
they're
kids. That's it. There's no
Just
age
kids.
group segmentation.
No, just as long as they're young enough or small enough where they can't go to the adult class, like it would be just ridiculous in the adult
Yeah.
class, they stay in that class. The depending on the size of the kid and talent, if they're like 14 and they're kind of like, then some of them come to do both classes, like one of the kids I was talking about.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. I just
Did you always think you would take it over?
No, my dad he told me I wasn't right for it. He used to say,
Wow.
your personality is not right, like for a service business kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I know what he meant, I'm
Yeah.
I'm not like that the people don't think I'm like the friendliest outgoing kind of person, so that's I guess what he thought with the service business. But
Yeah, I mean it's a tough business too. I mean, my father told me the same thing. He's like, it's not right for you. You got to go be a doctor. It's like, have you seen my grades? Like, what are you talking, what are you talking about, doctor?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
crazy? But yeah, man. Do you want your kids to take it over?
I do, because my dad when he was the last thing he said to me before he died
Yeah.
was take care of the club. So
Really?
for me,
Wow, I love that. Wow.
the last thing he ever said to me, and I
Yeah.
at the time I didn't think he was gonna. He died the next day, and I was like, I didn't think he was gonna. But I said,
Yeah.
that's
oh,
obviously that's in my head forever, and I'm
Yeah.
doing my best. And then if Jack and Nick can take over, then it's all good for me. I
Yeah.
did my part.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Yeah, because I've been there many times to train, and I see behind you this floor tiles, and it's the same, man. The door,
Yeah.
wall, like I know, like you go out there, take a left, the dojo's right there.
Yeah.
Right. What a thing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's-
remember you. I think the first time I remember you was like, remember the East Coast Championships
Yeah. Yeah.
that my dad used to do in
Yeah.
Newark.
Yeah.
And we would run. I would be at the tables doing
Yeah, that's
the
right.
pools
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
And you always used to come around like a young kid. How old were you back then?
13, 12, 10.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
in
you
it,
were a
man, all my
young
life,
kid.
man. Yeah.
But like you were always like laughing and
Goofing
like
off.
not taking things too seriously and stuff.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the only impression I ever. The first time I remember you.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to get in a lot of trouble at those things too, man.
Yeah.
I used to ask Mr. Sheena if he was Chinese, and then he would tell my dad. My dad would give me a beating, dude. It was like a thing,
You just to bust on him.
It was just funny. Like I didn't even know the guy that well,
Yeah.
but like I would spread rumors like, "Yo, did you know they're all Japanese except Mr. Sheena? He's Chinese." Like it was just like something that I did for fun, and it was just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of got out of hand. And then my
I
dad's like,
can-
"Yo, if you do it again, I'm gonna freaking give you a beating."
No, I could totally picture you doing it.
Yeah, good
That's you,
time, man. Do you want to run tournaments too, or?
I did run tournaments. I ran tournaments
Yeah.
here at the club, and
Yeah.
we would have the place would be packed, and we didn't charge. We would charge like $40 or $50 for entry
Yeah.
fees and stuff like that. And but it's like it's work. It's not.
It's work. Yeah.
So
There's something
now.
nice,
There's so
yeah.
many. There's so many tournaments to go to. So after, I guess the last one was probably right before COVID, 2019, and after that, there's a lot of tournaments for everybody to go to. So I kind of backed off, and I just yeah.
Dude, there's something nice, right? To wake up, it's like, all right, I'm not committed till 5 or 6 p.m. I just got to go and teach my judo. You're already good at it. You don't have to come up with a curriculum or a lesson plan. You just show up. It's like, all right, guys, it's all in here. Let's work out,
That's
Isn't it something
right.
beautiful about that?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I said, like, I know, like, I don't even have to, I take a look at the mat and I see, like, who do we have, so what level, and go, okay, this is what we'll do today. And if there's a, like, more higher advanced, like, okay,
Yeah.
this is what we'll do today. Like,
Yeah.
it's easy,
Yeah. I mean, we share some students now. Like Cameron
Yeah.
goes, he's from
Yep.
there. And when he's in New York City, he'll come to mine and he'll go back,
Yep.
right? And then so, like, my impression of you guys still, because I remember every time I went, it was like, all right, guys, hang out for a little bit. We're doing randori for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And there was like no timer, no nothing. It was just like it would just be randori the whole time, right? Is that still how it kind of is, or do you teach a little bit more?
I teach, it depends. Usually there's like it's usually randori. We do have a timer, like 4-minute rounds.
Yeah.
But there's a class on Saturday that it's no randori. It's all instructional.
On Saturday?
Saturday, yeah. Saturday, 10:30, 11:30, and then sometimes if it's a little bit like if we have like less than 15 people or so, like I'll teach, on that day. You know what I mean? On that, if it's a light class, just because we if there's but usually we have so many partners that after like hour and a half, people are it's not enough. So we just throw rounds in of Randura. They just
Wow, that's awesome, man. I gotta visit, man. I know Lydia goes there too now on Saturdays too, and she's like loving it. And I know Salama's been going too. Is that right?
Salama's he's good for at least twice a week. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Salama's great too.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, he's an awesome guy. He's the best.
Yeah. He's like such a positive in the room. He's like 3 or 4 guys. Like he's just like he's like a +3 in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll go with anybody. He won't
exactly.
And he won't hurt anybody. And he's always friendly.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of culture that you guys try to build actively at the gym, or is that something that just happened?
No, I don't know.
What's the culture like right now at the gym?
It is like that. It's real friendly. Everybody knows, no one's trying to kill each other. There's white. If you're a black belt going with a white belt, teach them, help them. To be honest, Jack was a little bit. He's the one that was as a kid, 15 years old, he goes a little crazy. When I was going with him and we're going out of bounds or something like that, he'll push me in the back to because he gets upset. He gets upset at himself, but he takes it out on you or the other person. So a couple times I had to tell him, Jack, you gotta chill, man. No one's gonna want to go with you. Sometimes he was doing it to Nicky. Nicky one time popped him right in the
love it.
Yeah. So, but other than Jack, everybody else is, pretty chill.
That's so cool, man. That's awesome. All right, so where can these guys find you? If you guys, the people who are listening to the podcast, where can they find you? Do you want them to find you?
Here in Cranford?
No, just in general, like YouTube stuff. They have questions for you, whatnot. Some people like to promote their Instagram or something, so they're like, Yeah,
Instagram, I just is Cranford JKC Instagram, and the YouTube is Nick Yonezuka. Nick_Yonezuka, and that's yeah.
You didn't want to do a GoFundMe or anything for your kids' judo Olympic thing? A lot of guys are doing that kind of thing.
I know, but right now, with the sponsorship that they have, I feel like that's good enough.
Nice, good. That's awesome, man. I like your attitude with all this.
Okay.
It's got to be so stressful, right? To put your
it
kids
is.
through all this? Yeah.
It is. It's definitely
tough,
stressful.
I'm struggling trying to put my kid in judo. My daughter, she's 5, and it's like, it's tough, right? Because it's such a tough road, And
I have a 30-year-old daughter, and
you have a daughter?
I knew right off the bat she it was not with Denise, with another mom, and I knew right off the bat she wasn't doing judo. She's a very girly girl, and and I didn't push her, So
my daughter loves ballet, princess stuff, dresses, and she's not,
It's okay,
you don't
have. Everybody has to do judo, It's okay.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you for being on the podcast, man. Great chat with
thank you,
hearing about your stuff. Great 3 generations of judo, man. That thing, what you said about your dad, man, that's really powerful stuff, dude. Love it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, man, and
thank you,
to your
Shatar.
kid, and we'll all be watching and rooting for your kid. JudoTV.com. So
thank you, man.
Yep,
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.